What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, the official ruling has come down, and the judge has ruled that Olympic gold bronze medalist, former WBC American Heavyweight World Champion, superstar boxer Deontay Wilder will receive his highly anticipated trilogy match with undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Tyson Fury, just less than 24 hours ago, he went and took to his social media in which he announced that he would be having a undisputed showdown with fellow countrymen, two-time unified heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia, August 14th. Well, less than 24 hours later, the judge rules that that will not be the case. He will indeed have to face off against Deontay Wilder in a trilogy match, and it will have to take place by September 15th, the latest. If Tyson Fury does not have a deal in place and fight Deontay Wilder by that time, he will be stripped of his belts, of his title, and on top of it, he will face punishment in which he will have hefty fines and so on and so forth. So I told you guys over and over again that the trilogy match between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder was coming down the pipeline, that, you know, Deontay Wilder had a leg to stand on. We knew Tyson Fury and everybody involved, including his promoter, Queensberry Promotions CEO and promoter Frank Warren, who co-promotes him in the UK, and his other promoter, his other co-promoter, legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum, and Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, who promotes Anthony Joshua. They were doing their best to be able to maneuver around Deontay Wilder in this trilogy match because what Deontay Wilder represents for the trilogy match, okay? Deontay Wilder represents a huge risk. They want to stage an undisputed match in the UK because they haven't had an official, born and bred UK, United Kingdom, undisputed heavyweight champion in over 120 years. This would be the fight that ends the drought. You all but 98% chance you're going to get a fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury that will end in the UK having an undisputed world champion. But the problem here is that Deontay Wilder is contractually obligated to receive a trilogy match. Okay, so unless that fight, that fight did come to fruition and ended in a draw, they would end the drought, and that's what they were looking forward to. But unfortunately for Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, because it's not their fault, well, they could have fought Deontay Wilder for over 2 years ago for undisputed, but they chose to opt in to go in a different direction. They had nothing but hurdles in front of Deontay Wilder to make the trilogy match. So Deontay Wilder, he chose to resurrect Tyson Fury's career after he went on a hiatus, gained a lot of weight. Deontay Wilder said, get yourself back in shape, get yourself back on track, get focused, and I'll give you the opportunity to fight for a world title, the WBC title that evaded you, okay? He won all the other belts when he fought and defeated Vladimir Klitschko, but he needed he never held the WBC belt. So Deontay Wilder, he fought Tyson Fury. The first fight ended in a draw. Second fight saw Tyson Fury victorious via 7-round stoppage after Deontay Wilder's team threw in the towel and ended the fight. With that said, he's contractually obligated to face Deontay Wilder in a trilogy match in which Tyson Fury, he initially, let it be known that that has to be the case. He stated in a build-up to the rematch that he had to face Deontay Wilder in a trilogy. Even after that, when June 10th of 2020, when he announced that a 2-fight deal was done for him and Anthony Joshua for 2021, even then Tyson Fury stated, there's only a few hurdles in the way. The fact that I'm going to have to face Deontay Wilder in a trilogy match and knock him out again before I could go into this fight with Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua had to satisfy his 2 mandatories, IBF mandatory Kubrat Pulev and WBO mandatory challenger and former undisputed cruiserweight world champion turned heavyweight title contender Oleksandr Usyk. So Eddie Hearn, Matchroom CEO and promoter, he was very smart. What he did was he went out and he signed Oleksandr Usyk, and that way he can negotiate to have Oleksandr Usyk step aside. And he had to do a deal with Kubrat Pulev because Bob Arum was having none of it. Bob Arum wanted Kubrat Pulev to get his opportunity. So he fought Kubrat Pulev, And then they offered Alexander Usyk another big fight in Joe Joyce, undefeated British heavyweight title contender. In Joe Joyce, after Joe Joyce come off a big win against fellow countrymen, at the time was undefeated, rising heavyweight British superstar title contender in Daniel Dubois. Joe Joyce got the stoppage victory. So offering Alexander Usyk a big fight with Joe Joyce and pay him big money and let him step aside, and should he win that fight, and that's a rematch they had of the amateurs. So should he win that fight, then he goes into what would be then an undisputed match with Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury, right? Because the winner of that fight would have to face him because he's the mandatory challenger. So he would then be fighting for undisputed. So you see the carrot they was dangling in front of Alexander Usyk to get him to step aside. You're going to have a big payday with Joe Joyce. Then you're going to have an undisputed showdown with the winner of the fight. And so Alexander Usyk, he wasn't too happy about it, but he wasn't too, against it, because he was stood to win either which way. Now, he claimed that he wanted to fight with Anthony Joshua for his mandatory position, but he wasn't opposed to fighting Joe Joyce and then fighting Anthony Joshua should Joshua beat Fury for undisputed. But with that said, Alexander Usyk, he started to get restless because they couldn't announce the Joe Joyce fight and they couldn't proceed forward with the negotiations until they had the ruling in the arbitration and mediation between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Now, we know that Frank Warren and Tyson Fury, they stated that Deontay Wilder missed the deadline to inform them that he wanted to proceed forward with the trilogy match. But we knew that wasn't true because they also did an interview a week before. They claimed that he missed the deadline to inform them that he wanted a trilogy. They let it be known that all parties involved were on board in trying to find a way to stage the trilogy match without losing the money that they gained in the rematch when they broke the live gate in Las Vegas. So they said the fact that we was dealing with a global pandemic and no fans could be in attendance at live sporting events, they didn't want to run the risk of losing such big money. And it's huge money they would leave on the table. And so with that said, a week later, miraculously, they changed their tune and started to say Deontay Wilder missed the deadline and that they were moving forward. Then they stated that they were going to have a fight December 5th against another opponent, German undefeated heavyweight title contender. And then that fell through because Deontay Wilder then took them to mediation and then arbitration. And obviously today, the ruling went in his favor. As I told you guys, they were leaning towards that. And 1 + 1 = 2. As you can see, if the ruling was taking so long to come down, well, if Deontay Wilder missed the deadline, then why would it be taking so long for the ruling to come forward, okay? It only took so long because Deontay Wilder had a case and he had a leg to stand on regarding the negotiations for him to have the trilogy match that Tyson Fury was in debt to him with, okay? And so yesterday, Tyson Fury, he takes to social media, says he spoke to the Prince of Saudi Arabia and that they confirmed to him that the fight will be taking place August 14th with Anthony Joshua for undisputed. Well, we know that not to be the case because just less than 24 hours later, the ruling comes down that he has to face Deontay Wilder or he's running a risk of losing his title and he's going to have to pay, Deontay Wilder compensation for his losses, for his damages. And with that said, now Anthony Joshua, he already came out and he stated that he had no interest in fighting Tyson Fury if the belt wasn't on the line because it's not about the belt. It's not about the man holding the belt. It's about the belt and the legacy itself. So Anthony Joshua, he already came out and stated that he has no interest in fighting Tyson Fury if the belt is not on the line. So that means if Tyson Fury decided that he was just going to stand put and not fight Deontay Wilder and they removed him on the belt, then wouldn't Anthony Joshua then make the conscious decision to fight Deontay Wilder for undisputed? It only makes sense because Deontay Wilder would then at that point either have to face somebody else for the vacant WBC title or he would be awarded back his WBC title. So Tyson Fury, he cited that he didn't want to fight Deontay Wilder in the trilogy because of some claims Deontay Wilder made after the rematch. Well, this is a combat sport. This is boxing, and it doesn't matter what your feelings get involved. This is facts over feelings. You contractually obligated to fight him. You contractually agreed to face him in a trilogy match. So therefore, you are going to have to give him the trilogy match that he so deserves and is obligated to receive before you even think about proceeding forward against Anthony Joshua for Undisputed. So there you have it. The ruling is in. Tyson Fury has the September 15th. And we know Bob Arum, who promotes Tyson Fury, he stated that they went to a hearing for the arbitration 2 weeks ago, and that turned into negotiations. So that lets you know everything you need to know. As Bob Arum, he stated that the fight with Tyson Fury, July, and Anthony Joshua in July or August was all but nowhere near going to be done, and that he had to bet. He's betting that Deontay Wilder be the next fight for Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua is going to face his WBO mandatory challenger in Alexander Usyk, seeing as though he's not going to face Tyson Fury, because now Alexander Usyk, he's not going to fight Joe Joyce. He's going to look to fight Anthony Joshua. So that's still a big fight for Anthony Joshua. Alexander Usyk, undefeated, former undisputed champion. So it's still a huge fight for Anthony Joshua. And now fans are allowed to attend sporting events and live in person. So now they will stand still to make their money for Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. And we know that Bob Arum, he put some venues on hold in Las Vegas. So there's talks that it could be at Raiders Stadium, in Las Vegas Raiders Stadium. So let's see how everything unfolds and plays out moving forward. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Ebony Bridges, Blonde Bomber, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.